Hey Campers Inn team, happy January, and this is your company update for the month. Got a few things we're going to go through and jump right in. So first off, I want to thank everybody for completing the value survey. So we got back the value survey. There's always a few of you that don't believe that that's anonymous, that write something about, can so-and-so contact me, but we have no idea who you are because it's anonymous. But anyway, we got the results back. And overall, it was favorable results. And so what we saw was when we average all the questions, we took out the benefits questions because it was the first year, but all the questions that we had year over year, overall, our alignment with the values as a company actually went up by about 4 percentage points. So it went up from right about 71% in 2023, overall agree or strongly agree on the average of all the questions, to about 75% overall. So that was really good news. And we saw some significant improvements in some stores. We also saw some stores that have some areas of opportunity. So managers that have access to the value survey, make sure you dig in and kind of look at your stores and see where they're going. One of the questions that actually our biggest year over year increase was a really interesting question. It was actually our values alignment of the location general managers, and that actually saw the biggest year over year increase as a company. So that was really great to see. For those GMs or managers that want to dig into your stores or your departments, here's what I recommend. I recommend you reach out to Stacy or Lori in HR, and they know how to dig in. They know how to sort by department. They know how to kind of dig into the different areas to really help you identify, okay, is this an issue? Maybe employees are having some values challenges with each other. Maybe it's supervisory level. Maybe it's general management level. Maybe it's how they're interacting with their regional, or even Jeff and myself are on there on questions. So there's a lot of different things that they can dig in, and they're trained and ready to help you make a plan so that we can attack these challenges. And we'll do the same thing at the regional and the national level, because there are some areas of opportunity that we're identifying. But for the few of you that actually asked very specific things for you, we have no idea who you are. So you're going to have to reach out and say, hey, I'm the person that asked this particular question to get back to me on. Because it is anonymous, and I just want to let you know that there's no way for us to identify, because what we do is we take the raw data, put it into Power BI, make it blind so none of us managers or supervisors can actually dig in and see who said what, because your name's not on it unless you put it on it. We don't track IP addresses. So if you want a specific answer to your specific question, I need you reaching out to management, human resources, myself, and we can help you. Okay, so that's the values. So with this video, we're going to send out from a headquarters level, we have some organization chart changes. We announced some last month in December, and then a couple more are being announced here. So you'll have a document with this when it goes out that you can open and look at as well. So I'm going to look at it on my other screen real quick. So what we announced last month that we're going to have a national towable sales director, a national motorhome sales director. That's Daniel and Ricky, and they haven't been assigned yet, but the other sales directors are going to roll up through the two of them. No change to the other national directors of Chris Bellamo on the service side, Rhett on the finance side. But on the VP side, we have had some changes. So as a lot of you know, Rick Chenoweth retired. So he's no longer with the company. We still have talked to him. He even showed up at the Tampa show and walked around, and I've talked to him because he couldn't help himself figuring out what was going on in the Pittsburgh show. So, but he has taken some time off. And then Joel Klein and I, one of the other VPs, talked, and transparently, Joel wasn't finding satisfaction. And so we talked and came up with a win-win. And a lot of you know, when we originally went forward with the Aqua store, him and Martin Zonnenberg and Campers Inn were partners. He's still a partner in that store, and he's gonna work as a managing partner at the Aqua store with that focus and attention. until we get Brazelton open, and then he's going to shift his attention over there. So Joel, if for any of you that have talked to him, is excited about what's going on, and he gets to be back where he gets the most fulfillment with, which is in a store, and asked Jeff and I in order to take that, and we're willing to work with him because he's earned it. So with that being said, with some movement on the VP side, we decided to kind of change up what we were doing and how we were running for the general managers. And so I know a lot of the general managers had questions. Who am I reporting to? I don't want to report directly to Ben. Is there someone else? That sort of thing. So on that side of it, yeah, there's a couple changes there. Larry Peter, who many of you know, is going to take the National Director of Store Operations position. All the GMs will roll up to Larry through a few others. So Debbie still has the Arizona stores, and we have two positions that are opening for assistant directors of store operations in the East and Midwest. And Larry is actively looking for people that want to be some assistants, right-hand people, working with him to oversee the GMs and coaching of the GMs and leading them on a day-to-day. And with this, I'll even send out some of what we're looking for in that particular job. So a couple documents will be attached because give you an idea of what does a care raise look like, what does the job description look like. And so we don't have the exact regional alignments assigned yet because we're looking to fill these positions first. And then once we fill the positions, we'll based on geography and whatnot, we'll assign regions. And they'll be reporting to the National Director of Store Operations, which is Larry. And so most of you know that as a company, we've been functioning as a hybrid organization for years, right? We have these functional department directors, and now we have a GM kind of department director, right, over that. And so we'll continue to operate that way. So for those of you at the store, I'd tell you that there's little to no changes, really. For the GMs, yes, there's some reports too that are going to be changing, and we'll continue to keep you in the loop on what that looks like. But I know a lot of you were curious on what we were doing there, and wanted to get that out to everybody. So that is on the org chart changes. Okay, last thing is, or not last thing, second to last thing is one of the criticisms that we had, and it was a constructive criticism and it was fair, was that with our hybrid organization in the past, we've had some lack of clarity on who is the buck stop for certain particular decisions, right? It might be a budgeting spend or a CapEx or inventory or headcount issue or whatever, right? Like pick your poison. Who's actually in charge of these different decisions? Who's the buck stop? Who's the final decision maker on this? Is it a department manager? Is it a GM? Is it a functional director? Is it on this new GM side, the store operations side, right? And so yesterday, this is Friday, so yesterday on Thursday, actually showed what that looks like, and we actually put some charts together on who's the buck stops and who needs to be consulted for various decisions. And we put that together, showed it to the team yesterday on one of our calls. Sometime next week, most likely, which will be, right now I'm recording this on 24th, most likely got today, but sometime next week, most likely, I'll have an invite out to the team that if you want to be on the call to kind of learn who's the buck stop on these different decisions, you're going to be invited. It's not meant to be a company-wide call for everybody, but different people may be interested in, hey, what do the decision charts look like? Who's responsible for what? Because one of our goals this year is being really clear in the communication and decisions on who is actually the decision makers for these various things. So another way of saying that is try to reduce some of the ambiguity, try to reduce some of the confusion, try to make it really clear on who we want making which decisions. And so you'll see an invite going out, and I'll try to get it out through as many chains as possible on those charts and going through those decision rights. Because one of my personal goals this year is to have a clearer communication and decision matrix effectively to just clarify some of the confusions and some of the rightful constructive criticism I was given that it's unclear who's making some of the decisions. Okay, so a couple other things, we'll wrap up. Been to a whole bunch of shows. So the shows, as a lot of you know, have been mixed, but they've been mixed mostly because of weather, right? So we've had a couple shows that have had snowstorms blow through or ice storms blow through, but where there's been okay weather, there's been good shows so far. So my attitude is still pretty positive because where we're getting a break on the weather, which hasn't been much so far this year, but where we're getting a break, we're having good results at the shows. Boston, we did slightly better than last year. Tampa was, we carried more products, so we don't have a great year over year, but it was a good Tampa show for us. And same with some other shows. Then we had some shows like Greensboro, where brutal weather, right, pretty much shut us down for a couple days. The Garden State show, Tom's River, they had that snowstorm come through on, I think it was Saturday. And so we've had some weather impacts, but we've also had some really good shows, and my attitude's still very positive about it, just like we talked about the last meeting. And then last thing going over is just attitude. Just what's the attitude is I can't tell this team how much I appreciate you on your attitude, and some of that showed in the value survey and our improvements year over year on that, and some of it's just what I'm hearing from the team. I don't think we've been this excited to go into a new year in a few years, right? No question, it's been a tough couple of years, but our team's ready to go. We have an excited team in all departments. I talked to Chris, I talked to Red, I talked to any of the sales directors, and the message is pretty consistent, at least to me, is that the team is pretty jazzed about getting into this year and getting going and going into season. Like, we feel like we're trained, we're ready. Is it perfect? No, there's a lot more that we could be doing, but it does feel like we're in a better position than we have been in years. And that's all on all of you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you for keeping the attitude, the energy, the enthusiasm high, because regardless of what the market does, if we're a good attitude place to work, if we're a fun place to work, if we're where we want to go to work every day, that's going to result in all sorts of good things for all of us. Whether it's, the communication between people, so we just have less friction, could result in us doing more business. But the Spader organization for decades has taught that attitude is really everything in this business, and our attitude is high, and I'm seeing some really good things. So once again, look at some of those attachments. Like I said, the assistant directors of store operations role. If you're interested, reach out to Larry. And then also I'll send out the org chart. So you have a couple things to look at along with this video. So appreciate everybody, appreciate what we're doing so far in January, and let's onward and upward from here. Thanks.